Hey, this is Anjali Kausar.
I am Ghajar and this is West Valley Weekly. One of the questions we hear from sellers is, once I accept an offer, is my home basically sold? The answer is not quite. Even in a strong market, transactions can fall out of escrow. The good news is that many of those situations can be avoided with proper preparation and by selecting the right buyer, not necessarily just the highest offer.
So let's talk about some of the most common reasons a sale doesn't make it to the finish line. The first one is buyer financing. A buyer may be pre-approved, but that doesn't mean the loan is fully approved. During escrow, the lender is still verifying income, employment, assets, credit, and the property itself. If the buyer changes jobs, buys a new car, takes on additional debt, or the lender discovers something unexpected, the loan can be delayed or even denied. That's why we always look beyond the pre-approval letter when we are evaluating an offer.
Another reason is inspections. Once inspections are completed, buyers sometimes become uncomfortable with what they discover. It could be foundation movement, an aging roof, plumbing or electrical issues, termite damage, or sometimes something else that they weren't expecting. And sometimes it's not the issue itself, it's the potential cost of the repair that makes the buyer reconsider. This is one reason we often recommend completing inspections before going on the market. It gives buyers information upfront and helps reduce surprises during escrow.
The third one is appraisal issues. If the buyer is obtaining financing, the lender will typically order an appraisal. If that appraisal comes in below the purchase price, there may be a gap that has to be addressed. Depending on the terms of the contract, the buyer may need to bring in additional cash, the parties may need to renegotiate, or the buyer may have rights under an appraisal contingency if one is in place. In Cupertino, Saratoga, West San Jose, and the surrounding West Valley, especially when strong competition pushes a sale price above recent comparable sales, appraisal issues can occasionally come up.
The fourth is buyer remorse. Buying a home is also an emotional decision, and sometimes buyers simply get cold feet. They may start thinking about the monthly payment, decide the timing isn't right, or see another property they prefer. That's another reason we evaluate the buyer's motivation and commitment, not just the price they're offering.
The fifth is title or property issues. Occasionally, sometimes unexpected things come up with the property itself. It could involve title, liens, permits, probate, the HOA, or even insurance. Many of these issues can be resolved, but if they aren't identified and addressed early, they can cause delays and potentially put the transaction at risk.
So, how do we reduce the chances of a sale falling out of escrow? It really starts before the home ever hits the market. We recommend preparing inspections and disclosures in advance, thoroughly vetting the buyer's financing and evaluating the entire offer and not simply choosing the highest price. And once we're in contract, we're constantly watching each milestone and looking for potential issues.
We like to remind our sellers that when we have accepted a contract, we are only about 25% done. When the buyer's deposit arrives, we are at 50%. When the appraisal clears, we are at 60%. When the loan is underwritten and the buyer's closing disclosure or CD is issued, we are at 70%. When the loan documents arrive and the buyers sign, we are at 80%. When the buyers and the lenders have sent the money into escrow, we are at 90%.
And finally, we're 100% done only when the transaction has closed and the money is in the seller's bank account. That's why getting an offer is exciting, but it's not the finish line. Getting successfully through escrow is the finish line.
The goal isn't just to get your home into contract. The goal is to get it closed.
And if you're thinking about selling in Cupertino, Saratoga, West San Jose, or anywhere in the West Valley, we'd be happy to walk you through how we prepare a home, evaluate offers, and manage the escrow process to maximize both price and the likelihood of a successful closing.
Thank you for watching West Valley Weekly. We'll see you next week.
See you later.